It's your boy Nguno in the house, back with another Arsenal news episode. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in this episode, we're going to talk about Kieran Tierney. We're going to talk about Edu facing a challenge on signing a new fullback for Arsenal. And of course, someone wants a point deduction and a big hefty fine for the top six clubs who actually joined the European Super League, who actually betrayed the trust of the fans, according to certain people. So, we're going to discuss about that. We're also going to discuss about the official statement, if what actually happens if the European Super League teams who have left the European Super League, how much actual fine do they really have to pay. Everything will be discussed in this episode, so let's talk about it. So the first news that we got about is that Sir Alex Ferguson says Kieran Tierney has been fantastic at Arsenal. Andy Robertson the last 2 years at Liverpool, he's been unbelievable. And now McTominay is emerging as one of Manchester United's big players. And this is according to Manchester United Live, according to Men actually, and that's the fact. And moving on, so talking about the other stuffs, ladies and gentlemen, here's the reality of the European Super League. How much is going to be the damage, and how much is it going to burn their pockets? Well, all the clubs that have left the European Super League will have to pay a very, very hefty fine of 300 million euros. Yes! 300 million euros according to Vox Populi via Mundo Deportivo. They believe that it is going to be 300 million euros. Well, according to the contract all clubs signed on Saturday, 300 million would be the amount of a club would pay if they have decided to abandon the ESL. This is the same figure every club was going to receive from the 3.2 billion loan from JP Morgan had they stayed. Now, according to the contract, all the clubs signed on Saturday, and the contract stipulates that those clubs that decide to leave the Super League are obliged to face the compensation equivalent to the part they would initially receive, according to Vox Populi. That's the crazy bit of news, ladies and gentlemen. Also, if Marcelo decides to run down his contract until 2022, instead of leaving this summer, Real Madrid wouldn't have any problem with that. So would you guys consider Marcelo at Arsenal? That's a big part. So also, here's the big part. Barcelona have actually officially come up with an official statement that they want to be a part of the European Super League. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Comunicado Official on their official website that according to NY Times, it was Barcelona president Joan Laporta that told La Liga president Javier Tebas that the Super League project is really happening. Tebas then warned UEFA president Ceferin about it, which is why UEFA were fully prepared to counter-attack. So, Joan Laporta, he just messed it up, man. Okay, alright, so let's move on to the real different news, man. It's too exhausting. So, Arteta was asked on what he would say to people who said that Arsenal did not even deserve to be in the Super League. He says that we are one of the best clubs in the world and we could not be any prouder to represent this club to its history, and we totally understand the demands and excellence we have to be pursuing. You cannot deny the history, and that history is attached to results. It's attached to a certain way of doing things, to certain values, to representing those in the right manner, to having the amount of support and love that we have around the world. So yeah. Also, Kave Solikol tweets out the reality about what difficulties Vinay Venkatesham is actually experiencing in re-establishing his ties with the other 14 members of the Premier League. He says, well, Arsenal chief executive Vinay Venkatesham's phone calls to say sorry to other 14 clubs didn't go that well. One CEO says he made a bad situation worse. Another says he gave Vinay Venkatesham a tongue lashing and told him Arsenal had behaved absolutely disgracefully. Unreal, man. So also Josh Kroenke opened up about his apology. He says, from myself, my father and KSE, we apologize for the angst that we caused everyone and the situation that we put ourselves in. I believe we are fit to carry in our position as custodians of Arsenal. We were put in a very difficult position by forces outside of the club. We have the same plans for summer that we had several weeks ago, and I'm still excited about those. Moving on, so ladies and gentlemen, Dani Ceballos shares this image from the training grounds. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, Dani Ceballos, he actually used a lot of emojis that I just barely can read it out for you. But here are the certain hashtags that he's used. Hashtag training day, hashtag ready to play, hashtag Premier League, hashtag Arsenal versus Everton, hashtag Gunners, hashtag Vamos Gunners. Disaster class incoming, ladies and gentlemen. But moving on, so let's share with you Arsenal training images. Look who's back in training. Martin Odegaard is back in training, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that's the beautiful and awesome, super fantabulous news that we have. Martin Odegaard is back in training. And also, here we go, Martin Odegaard, Nicola Pepe, Miguel Molina, or Matt Ryan, who's shaved his mustache and beard for some weird reasons, and Bukayo Saka. You can see there in the background. You could see Emil Smith-Rowe, and you could see Mo Elneny, Saka, and Nicola Pepe. And then there's Bukayo Saka in the background. I think that is Hector Bellerin and other players. Yeah, that's that. So, what just happened? Okay. Alright, so that's that. And yes. So here's Thomas Teye Partey, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulating David Luiz. It was his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, David. And of course, that's exactly what everyone was happy about. So moving on. So Martin Odegaard is super happy to join in the training. And him being a part of the team, he can actually contribute to something. And there we go. The Brazilian-Portuguese connection. You could see Gabriel Martinelli, David Luiz, and of course Cedric Soares talking to each other. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Callum Chambers. They're having a laugh at certain things. And then there is Forward Balogun, Willian Borges, and of course the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Hector Bellerin, the Chelsea Slayer. Moving on, so talking about the Chelsea Slayer and everything, but here comes the reality check. The Emirates Cup will definitely take place this summer, while Arsenal also plan to schedule 2 more pre-season friendlies, according to Chris Wheatley. So yes, as you can see, sad to tell that Aubameyang has lost his Travis Scott hairstyle. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang shows off his new hairstyle, going back to his old iconic look. HD Cuts put this on his Instagram, and he actually came up with the caption, "Had to put Travis Scott on a pause for now." Well, thank God you did. It was a nightmare. Moving on, so Bukayo Saka on Instagram stories says, "Happy birthday, David Luiz. Everyone already knows how much we love you." Yes, Little Chile loves his Brazilian mate, and his Brazilian mate is really happy, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy stuff, crazy, super crazy stuff. But moving on. So here's a bigger transfer stumbling block for Edu Gaspar right now. Arsenal will be in the search for a new right back this summer, and if they decide to sell Hector Bellerin, the Spaniard is on the radar of both Paris Saint-Germain and former club Barcelona ahead of the summer window opening, as he is eager to test himself elsewhere following a long-term stay in North London. Although the window is still several months away from opening, the Gunners have been linked with an array of possible replacements, including Max Aarons of Norwich City and Emerson Royal, who is currently on loan at Real Betis from Barcelona. However, if Arsenal are to wish to sign the latter of those two aforementioned names, there are concerns as to whether or not the Gunners could reach his price tag, because that is according to a report by Estadio Deportivo, who insists the La Liga heavyweights would be looking for a fee anywhere between £21.6 million to £26 million. It is claimed that the fee could be an issue for the Gunners, with them likely to prioritize a move for a left back and attacking midfield this summer, although they are hopeful they can keep hold of Real Madrid loanee Martin Odegaard. Let's believe in such things. But moving on, so Chris Sutton, former Chelsea striker, believes that there should be a 12-point reduction and a £50 million fine for the clubs that actually broke away the league. He says, "I'd give them a 12-point reduction immediately, and I'd give them a European ban for a couple of years." Alexander Safarin called them snakes. Well, take the venom out of the snakes, give them a European ban, let other teams come up and compete. Otherwise, what is the deterrent? If you expel them from the Premier League, then they can go and set up their own other league. I think there are things which can be done. How do you punish a billionaire? I think we can find the billionaires heavily and put the money into grassroots football. Say £50 million per club. Lame-o. Moving on, so with this we end this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you seek daily Arsenal content, best place to be, consider subscribing. I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye bye.